Me showing some stuff in Studio One. Going to go through your workflow, things you like about the program, certain things maybe you can show, some of your own tricks and production tricks and stuff that you do.
Right.
And I'm just going to get out of the way and let you do your thing. So let's give it up for Sak Pase.
Thank you, everybody. So I'll give you like a quick, how I arrived at Studio One. It was a couple years ago, a friend of mine, a producer named Young Yanni, he's worked with like Trey Songz and Christina Milian and various other artists. He had a record that I heard at a recording studio, and I was like, yo, how do you get your drums to sound like that? Because I think my drums suck. And he was like, oh, man, I'm just using a bunch of different programs. And then he said he used one, he said he used Reason. I was like, I hate Reason. He used it, did it already. And then he was in my room, and he saw that I was using Logic, and I was like, I hate, well, I'm not trying to like, play other DAWs, but I was like, I felt like there's some kind of soft limiting or some kind of limiting thing that's going on in my program with my drums. And he was like, have you tried Studio One? And I was like, I've never even heard of it. And he just told me, yo, try it out. The interface is awesome. It won't take you too long to figure out how to use it. And I went on YouTube and I seen Teddy Riley use it at the 2013 NAMM show. And I was up like at 3 o'clock in the morning watching House of Cards. And I started realizing like this program was amazing. And so I downloaded it. And within a week, I was telling everybody that they need to, quit whatever it is that they were using and, and switch over to Studio One. And since then, I've worked on the last Kanye album, the Yeezus album, using Studio One, and I'm in the studio with Nicki Minaj, and everything is Studio One. I don't record in Pro Tools anymore. It's like the perfect all-in-one DAW for me. Everyone has their own preferences, and they produce and they have their own personalities and how they do things and how they arrive at things. But I found personally that my workflow increased like substantially. Like I was able to start and finish ideas, in just half the time even, So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up a session just to highlight some of the things that I think are pretty awesome. One of the first things that I realized about Studio One was the comping, your ability to comp in Studio One. So I just have a track, and
Light of lights, Jesus,
so this is a worship album that I'm working on right now.
We won't look for another, no.
And so this is a comp.
Shining bright in majesty you clothe.
So I'll just take the first 4 bars. Generally what I do now is, because of how fast I can comp vocals, I basically do it, every 2 bars or 4 bars. So what I'll do is I'll have the vocal track recorded, expand the layers, and I can sit here and basically, let's see, highlight, I think they're hidden here. There they go. So I have all of my takes right here, and I can literally just sit down and audition each take without having to hit solo, hit the up button to audition it in comparison. So you literally just sit down. It's the easiest thing. It's like a 2-year-old could figure this out after a certain amount of time. So sit there and I'll just take this one part right here.
Light of lights, light of lights.
And I could just sit up here and comp vocals as if, he's just auditioning it for me in the vocal booth. With no stuttering, no trying to, stop, hit play.
You Jesus, the Messiah.
And so that was the thing that made me say I will never go back to Pro Tools again, because I used to hate comping vocals, but now I just feel like it's become something that I actually enjoy doing now. It's gotten my ear a lot sharper. You know, my patience in the actual process of producing has increased substantially. So that's just one facet of Studio One that I think is amazing. Another really awesome thing is, you know, you can really stay in just this view if you wanted to do a lot of bussing. You know, it's like just the speed at which you can do it. I can just take these two, highlight these two tracks, right click, and then add bus to select the track. And now these tracks are now in a bus. Right here.
Jesus, the Messiah.
So
You are.
Here you have it. I was able to bus from one screen. I didn't have to, you know, Apple Plus to look at another mixed view and then try to figure out where's what and how to get there and how, you know, how am I going to get it back. That's just one of the awesome, like, just vocal features that I really appreciated with Studio One. Another really dope just feature that I thought was just like, it was just like genius to me. I felt like, you know, the developers were like geniuses for this. You know, I just can't really, I don't know another word to explain this, but, you know, there are a lot of times like you're creating and you want to do automation. And so you have to pull up an automation window and, you know, you have to draw the automation window, but sometimes you figure out that it sucks or it's not really as dope as you thought that it was. Well, it really is annoying when it's only one part of whatever it is that you want to affect. So here is, you know, let's go, I'll do it on the same vocal track here, where I'm basically going to take one part. Let's do this one right here.
The Messiah.
So I'm going to take that one word and I'm going to EQ it, but just that one word. Like, I don't want the whole track to be, I don't want to have to create a bus or anything like that. I'm going to just take this one word. I'm going to drag the EQ on the word, pull it up, and now I can affect it, do like a telephone effect to it, and render it here, as you can see here, where are we at, right here, render. And so now that one word is EQ'd.
Light of lights, you Jesus, the Messiah.
Oh, hold on a second, I didn't bounce it. Here we go. Oh, hold on a second. Let's do that one more time. Restore, EQ, bam, bam. Render, there we go.
Light of lights, you Jesus, the Messiah.
And let's say for whatever reason I didn't think it was that good. Well, I can bring it right back. So I didn't lose anything. I didn't waste any time flipping to another window, drawing automation, or having to duplicate a track to just put automation on just one thing. Those are one of the features that I feel in the process of mixing, when it's so, you know, we're in a vibe, you're in a zone, you're trying to get through something. It's critical, like at 3 o'clock in the morning, not to feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again, or you're like you're half asleep. It's something it's subtle, it's very simple, but it shaves so much time off of the, you know, just that process, the like. You know, you accidentally hit duplicate a couple times and you didn't mean to do that, so now you have to delete this and add that. And before you know it, 20 minutes have gone by and you forgot what you were trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of, like, you know, that was one of the really dope vocal, you know, things that I felt like is just amazing. But you can do that on any track.
Would you say that because you can work faster in Studio One, and Shaka and I have talked about this also, that because you're doing things faster, you don't lose as many creative, inspired thoughts because you get them down before
Exactly.
they're gone.
Especially when you're in with a writer. I spend a lot of times collabing with writers, and they come in, and you know, after you sit down and you know you just talk and catch up with each other, like the first 20, 30 minutes is really important, because for a writer or other creative people, they want to get into the vibe as fast as possible. They don't want you to sit down and you know, try to pull up sounds and do, especially if they have an idea, they want to write as fast as possible, you know. And so me personally, it was critical, because I felt like I was spending too much time trying to find the vibe for the writer, and by the time I found the vibe, the writer is like, you know what, let's move on to another idea, you know. And so real quick, you know, I can just pull up you know, like a blank session. Let's say the writer is like, hey, I really love the drums on a particular song. 9 times out of 10, they come in there with this idea. It's inspired from something else, you know, and you kind of want to like help them get to that point as fast as possible. Do all your, you know, sci-fi tricks after they're gone, when they're home and all of that. You don't want to sit down and try to mix and master a song while they're trying to write and create. So, you know, this has happened to me before, where they're like, yo, man, I like the drums on this song. Can we kind of get that vibe? And so, you know, I pulled up this old Ghost Town DJ's record. So she might come in and be like, yo, I love these drums. How do I get this groove, this vibe going? So, you know, finding the tempo is really like easy. I can, I've already kind of like figured out what the tempo was, but basically, a real cool feature is, you know, as long as your eyes are good, you could kind of, you know, highlight a region and figure out where the bars line up. So I just basically drag this piece down here, right? And so that's that. But let's say I personally want to be creative and I don't want to bite it. I want to use my own drum sounds, right? Well, dope feature is PreSonus Studio One is like, Melodyne is built into the program. So now I'm going to take this audio and basically get the MIDI out of it and substitute the drums. So you know, you right click, Melodyne is pulls up because I use it a lot. And then once you see these blue lines, you just drag it down to instrument track that I've already used as impact, already selected impact. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the MIDI. I'm going to check it out. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to figure out some sounds, what sounds I want to use to substitute. The search window is to your right, and it makes dragging and dropping like really convenient. Everything is just convenient in Studio One. You get to where you want to get to as fast as you can. You know what I'm saying? So drum sound, let's see. Gonna go into one of my favorite kicks. Where is it at? I think it's in, hold on 1 second. Where is it at? What drum? Oh, it's in here. Kicks. So I like that kick. So I'm just gonna drag it in here. And then I'll find another snare. Maybe a snap. All right, so now I'm going to figure out where these MIDI notes are hitting at. It shows you, the dope thing is, if you look here, it actually tells you what samples are where, you know? So if I know that this is the kick, I can just go down to the kick. I know that this is the snare. I just go there, right? So let me just do that again so I can get the whole. There we go. I think I muted this here. Oh.
I'll show you too. If you hold the command key and click to the. If you hold down the command key and click in the space over on the left, it'll highlight all the notes on that row.
Oh, the command key.
Well, that one, yeah, no, go up. Go up to where the other ones are. Here, close impact. And now go up to that top row.
This one?
Yeah, and click over on the left with the command key.
Uh-huh.
And there you go. Now you can drag them all down.
See, I didn't even know that.
And then you could do the same thing with the snare.
That's awesome. See?
And then just drag that
Pretty
one
cool.
down.
And then another cool feature is, you know how sometimes your MIDI overlaps without you wanting it to, and then, you know, you're trying to figure out how to get everything one spot, you know, one even length. Well, go to action, length, figure out how long you actually want the MIDI notes to be, right? Apple A, highlight all, quantize. Hold on a second, I did that. Let's see. Oh. Oh. Do that again. I really love this mono feature that you have on the pads itself, because I like my drums in mono because it bangs a lot harder. So I generally just put that in mono. This velocity thing does something that makes it sound bigger, and I tend to push all my drums really hard. So now that I've got this vibe, I want to separate the tracks just to make my life easier when it's time for, stemming things out, and just so I can have a little bit more control. So I just explode to pitches, and that is right here. So now those kicks and snare MIDI notes are spread out. Duplicate that over bars, and so now I have the vibe that the writer was looking for, and it didn't take me that long to do it. One of the cool features, again, just another one of the cool features is I like the world of audio just because, it's kind of like by fault, because I used to have the issue where my Logic would not save anything. And so I got really used to having to bounce everything to audio. But this just makes it really easy. You highlight the tracks. I have a quick key where it's just B, and now I have these as audio. So these aren't going anywhere. If I want to go back and alter them, I still have the MIDI channels available to me. So now, I've got this cool drum track going, There is a note repeat function on Studio One that's really dope, that you kind of normally have to have an MPC pad or something like that. I forgot to bring my MIDI controller, but you can essentially just take, I might be able to do it with just the MIDI here, where, let's see here, create an instrument track here, draw it in. Let's see if it'll work.
What do you want to put in? Are you going to put in a hi-hat?
Yeah, we're going to put in a hi-hat.
So drag a hi-hat in, and then actually the way you can do it, if you want to draw in a note repeat, once you get your hi-hat into impact, is hold down the Option key and draw across, and it'll draw multiple.
Let's see. That's cool. So you can actually...
So you're going to add that to your impact kit.
I'm going to use sample 1.
Okay.
I'm going to right-click on the hi-hat, send to new sample 1. Right. I'm going to take it. This is one of the sampler. This is the sampler in Studio One. And I'm going to right-click to trim out top of it. And let's see here. So I'm going to open that up. And you said, how'd you say to do it?
What's the note value you want? Like 16ths?
Yeah.
So set the
quantize.
16,
yeah, quantize that. You do 16.
And then go down there, and I think it's the Option key. When you've got the pencil tool, you'll see a little line. No, that's not it.
Oh.
The Option key? Try the...
what is it?
Should be Option, or try Control. Hold down the pencil tool. Let me see the different modifier keys. Oh, there you go. It's the two of them together. Now drag across.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that. I was doing it the slow way.
So click and drag once you do that.
I was doing it the slow way. Look at that. Came to NAMM and learned something. That's it. This is ridiculous. See, I didn't even know this. I've been doing this the long way for a very long time. I had no idea. Oh, hold on a second. That is so cool. I did not know how to do that. You just really made my day. So, okay, cool. So now I've got a vibe. A lot of writers that I work with, they kind of, sometimes they work with melody, sometimes they don't. You know, you can always, if you have some loops, I've been really in the world of loops where I'll create my own loops sometimes. Let's see here. Apple Loops music. Let's see what I have in here. Self-made loops.
Those Apple loops. I wanted to point out that we were talking about earlier. Studio One will let you play Apple loops, acid loops, Rex files, anything that's in a loop format. You drag it in here, it just works. So, you hold down Option Command with and then you draw in whatever the quantized value is. It'll draw in the notes. Oh, the question was, people in internet land. No, I'm pointing at a camera. Yeah, this is like Vegas. It's like a casino. That's because Justin cheats at cards. Anyway, the question was, how do you do note repeat when you're drawing it in a MIDI situation? And what it is when you hold down the Option key and the Command key together, you'll see the pencil tool with a little line. And whatever your quantized value is, now as you sweep it across, it's going to lay it in there. Yeah. It's also really cool for doing drum fills. There's other kind of cool tricks you can do because, as you noticed, if you go up or down pitch-wise, it makes it an even division depending on how drastically you go up or down.
Right.
It'll skip a note or it'll be consecutive,
right? Whatever
it might be.
It was amazing. Like I did not know that existed. It's like I got a huge smile on my face because now my mind is like, so you know. You can audition your loops, figure out what it is that you know, the kind of vibe that you want. This is kind of cool. Shift. So let's see. I think I like it like this. I'll do this. So I really have, Studio One has actually, I create in a completely different way now. Like I was always a MIDI guy. I always spent all my time in MIDI. And that's the world that I existed in. And then Studio One made it like, you know, cool to just play with audio and taking audio, you know, just different audio files from all different kinds of places. And because you can just drop it in there and time stretch, and I'll show you how to time stretch, it just makes the process fun. So now I'm on an airplane. If I have a 5-hour flight on the way to a session, you can just drum up 5 or 6 ideas, sketch ideas. They don't have to be perfect. Even with this, I can, if I'm committed to these drums, right? Hold on a second. I can basically, I'm gonna pack these drums, right? I'm gonna pack these drums, so regardless of what audio idea I might have going, I can sub out. So this is one idea. I'll say this is idea 1. Right, just in case she says she doesn't like that for whatever reason. And I'll just sub out. Be like, hey, which idea do you like more? So I can essentially have 5 or 6 ideas to just one drum programming, because really all of the producing and all of the tricks that I do is after she leaves anyway, you know, and for just for the sake of time, and you want to get that vibe going, you know what I'm saying, and you want to pull up as many ideas as you can in a short amount of time. So let's say I have 2 ideas now with just, you know, these drums, right? Well, what I can do is you can access ideas really fast. That's another really cool thing about Studio One. Let's see, I can pull up, let's see here. I can pull up another idea. This was a record that I worked on Kanye's new album. And like a lot of times you can get inspiration from like your favorite artist. So I really like that loop. I thought it was dope the first time he played it for me, you know? And, you know, again, go into edit with Melodyne. And let's say I want to do the same. Let's say I'm creating a remix of my own, you know? I'll go in and see, pick a sound of mine. And I will just so now here is the loop of an idea that I really liked. And now I can, you know, create my own remix, and it really didn't take me like more than 3 minutes to do that. So I'll go through my drums. Studio One, it'll if your audio loops are on beat, it'll match the tempo. So I'll just, you know, I think that loop is kind of cool. So it's not quite on beat, right? So let's see, time stretch it. Like an old Wu-Tang weird kind of vibe to it. So this is kind of like how I create a lot. Actually, I think I want to take that sound and bring it into sample 1 instead, so I could do a lot more things with the pitching of it. So, and this is how, like, generally this is how I'm creating on an airplane. And I know everybody on the plane is looking at me crazy because they have this weird program they're looking at. But do the sustain, I release it all the way. Now, yeah. Some of the things that I do real quick. Change the programming a little bit, give it a little bit more. So I think the 808's a little bit too stiff. So what I'll do is I'll go into the swing function and give it a little bit more swing. And so let's say I'm like, yo, I like the vibe, but it's too slow. Well, that's not a problem. It just works with audio really well. So I'm gonna go up to like 78. Let's see here. Huh? Oh, no. Oh, yeah, I haven't changed it yet. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. I want to speed it up some more. So I like the vibe of it, right? So I was inspired off this vibe, but I want to like manipulate the original loop just a little bit. So this is when like my loop library grows, because I'll be like, yo, this is a really dope loop that I just made. So I'm going to go ahead before I forget, because I'll forget. export it as, where is it at? Export as an audio loop. Let's see. Right click, audio. Where is that at? Event. Where is it at again? Oh, hold on. I know what it is. I got to do that. Then do it. Where is that at? Export is, so this is, I guess this is Studio One's audio, you know, format. So I'll just call it New Slaves Loop, right? So now it's, I can always have this now. So that idea inspired this, you know? And then, so let's say like, okay, I don't want these drums because it slows it up a little bit. Well, I can go into some sounds. Let's see, where do I want to pull for? I will pull from, let's see. What kind of snare do I want? What's the name of the one that I worked on last night? Famous. Okay. So what I'll do is, I'll do this. This has a snare that I really like from another song, right? And so since I have access to all my drives and everything, I can just go in here and say, hey, I want this snare. So I'll just drag that in there. And it, I don't know how it just happened to be on beat, but it is. I didn't.
The reason it's on beat is because everything that you record in Studio One records all the tempo information.
Oh.
So the other thing is you could have done is grab that loop that you just did there, the Omnisphere loop.
Uh-huh.
And if you just drag it over into the browser,
Uh-huh.
let go.
Oh, it exports
There
it?
it is, yes.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that.
The browser is bi-directional, so even though we can pull stuff in, anything you got there you can pull out.
Oh, that's amazing.
And now it's there in your loop library.
That's dope. That's crazy.
It's already saved.
It's already saved. That's amazing. Mhm. Oh. So, I like this vibe. I want to commit. I'm ready to commit. I will, actually, I'm going to add one more. Boom, right there. So I'm ready to commit. Bounce all of that down. Super fast. Hide my MIDI. I always put things in mono just sounds better to me. Again, I kind of like go back to just a control that you can have. So I go into my SPL, pull up a transient designer, and I will drag it on whatever I want. If I want it on the entire track, I can just drag it in the mixer, but I always like to print as much of my own effects and processing on my sounds, because I hate when engineers mess up like my music. Like, I don't want you to mess with my drums, or just mix it, you know? So what I tend to do, I generally like whatever reverbs or effects that I want, I print it on the actual audio. So on this one drum, let's see, on this 808, I will think that's cool, so I'll render that out. But let's say on the very next track, actually, yeah, on the very next track, let's say I want to filter it. So we're gonna go first 4 bars, dry, and then the next 4 bars I'm going to put like a filter effect on it. So I'll go into, where is it? Sonata. And then, oh, it's by accident. Just on this part. Do that. And then render. So, and this part will be filtered. And I didn't have to do automation windows. I didn't have to flip screens. Everything that's the way it's gonna be. You know, especially a lot of that, to me, that's really useful because sometimes you have a plugin that someone else doesn't have. And the hardest thing is to have somebody try to duplicate something that they can't do. So, you know, you can, you know, print your own effects to it, your own personality, your own characteristics, and then shoot that off to the engineer. And
doesn't matter what DAW they're using. Doesn't matter what DAW they're using. You're giving them an audio file.
That's exactly the way you want it, you know. And so something that I do a lot actually. Sometimes when you add a reverb to something, it kind of softens the attack. So this is something that I do where I'll duplicate the track, and I will put reverb on that one track and drown it out. And now I have like the depth that I want without having to compromise the if I want to gain it a little bit more, just gain it here. Yeah, and so this is with it without the dry now. Yeah, the attack is there, but now I have the depth and the space that I want. Again, I do things all the time where like I'll just reverse things. Just, you know, this could be something that's a cool ambient sound. So again, now that I know how to do this cool feature, I'm gonna go into my sounds and let's see, song hits. Give it a second here. And I will take this and drag it, and now it's there. So that sound that I just created is now there. And I didn't know that last night. But now that I know that it's there, it's about to really, you know, go in real. But so now I can undo. Let's see, what else? Do something else to it. I'm gonna go into some vocal sounds, maybe.
Leap strive to be the best.
Actually, I'm gonna go into my vocal samples here. Let's see.
The natural passions.
Thank you very much.
What do I want to? I want a really weird voice.
You only passions.
I feel myself sincere.
Better bag that.
Go. Niggas better bag, niggas better.
like that. So what I'll do is I'll take this one part here. I like this. I'm gonna do something really weird with this sound. Let's see. I'm gonna transpose it down. Let's see. Now I'm going to, I think I'm going to go through some effects. Going to go into Sound Toys and get a decapitator on there. Make it like really. So I'll do this. I'll chop it up. Okay. All right, that's kind of cool. So now I just have to figure out where I want to place it. Yes. Yeah. Let's see, what else? What else can I do? You're always... Let's say there's like, you have this idea of that's actually in another song, right? So I'm gonna go into I think I want to go into I'm gonna go into Black Skinhead session. There might be something in there. This is so let's see. This is something here. So what I've done is.
If you want to grab that thing that you're about to highlight, you open up the browser.
Uh-huh.
You can just drag it over to the browser, that little region, and it should just drop that little region over.
Oh, really? Let's see here. So I'm going to do that. He says that I can drag it, so I'm going to. And where's my. So I'm going to go into my NAMM session here. And if you're telling me this is going to do what I think it's going to do. So I just drag it in there. That's crazy. So you can have access to whatever you want whenever you want it. No matter. And now I'm going to go back to my session because it's right here. Drag it in. I kid you not, I did not know this. That's crazy. This is crazy. Happen if I sped this whole thing up and see what it sounds like faster. Just it doesn't sound that cool, but again, that's, you know, Studio One just gives you those last features, just my mind is like going right now because I didn't even know I could do that. Yeah. I can play play a song. Let's see. Oh, I can play you. I'm working on this worship album right now. That's like really cool.
Yeah, something that's like full production. And let's see if it plays.
Awesome. Okay, so let's see. I'll just create a new session, new song, and point it to the NAMM folder. And let's see here. So this is a song off a worship album that I'm producing. The name of the artist is Jimmy Gravity. And everything in Studio One. The only thing that isn't in Studio One is the mixing, and that's only because I'm not the one mixing it, but it's pretty much pre-mixed form because I printed everything that I wanted on my, so it pretty much sounds as close to what I wanted as possible. So here it is.
With every step I will rise. With every step I lift my eyes to the hills.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
To the hills where my help comes from. And all my life this is true. That all my help is in you. To the hills where my help comes from. To the hills where my help comes from.
Let's hear it. Sak Pase, everybody, man.
Thank you.
Very cool. You guys noticed, by the way, between Catfire and Sak Pase and Nikki Davies coming up in a second, and all the people we've had, these are all like totally different musical styles. But they all have one thing in common, is that Studio One, the way it sounds, how easy it is to use, and all these different producers, and we all use it in a little bit different way, and we all discover tricks that we share with each other as we start talking to one another, because there are so many cool little things under the hood that you can do in Studio One.
Absolutely.
You got anything else to add? And
No, I mean, other than
there we go.
I feel like Studio One is just I feel like how you create music, the trajectory is headed in this direction, where you want a program that that helps you be creative as fast as possible. It doesn't leave you out. You know what I'm saying? And in every facet of creating, whether you live in MIDI or you live in just audio, even DJing, you know, I just feel like Studio One is just an awesome program, and it's still growing, it's still developing. It's going to be something that, like, bar none,
Yeah,
you know, is
version
by far
3.
the best program, yeah.
Version 3 is going to be pretty cool.
Yes,
Yeah,
and I heard version 3 is coming out, so I'm really excited about it.
Right on. One more time, you guys. Thank Sak Pase.
Thank
We got Nikki David coming up in about a half hour, and so stick around or come back. Got a great people coming up to the show. Thank you.